How many L's can Ubisoft take? How many can they take before they realize what they are doing is flawed? What they are doing is not working anymore. I'm pretty sure you already know where I'm going with this. Like the Assassin's Creed series. Everyone knows it, right? It has taken us everywhere, from the rooftop of Italy, to the revolutions of France, to the frozen lands of the Vikings. We even fought gods. We've seen every corner of history through a hidden blade. But there is one story Ubisoft almost told, and they didn't. They chickened out. A story set in post-Civil War America about a freed slave who becomes an assassin. I'm not talking about Adewale. And takes the fight to one of the most infamous groups in history, the Ku Klux Klan. But what did Ubisoft do? They cancelled it. Why, you might ask? Because apparently it was too political. Yeah, too political. So here's the setup, right? Like this game, codenamed Project Scarlet, was set during the Reconstruction era. No, that's the decade right after the Civil War, when America was trying to rebuild itself. So slavery was gone, but the wounds were still open. Like the South was burned, the North was divided, and the promise of freedom was already being undermined by hate groups like rising. It was a brutal, complicated time. The kind of setting Assassin's Creed was made for. The kind of setting Assassin's Creed game would have thrived off. You've got power struggles, secret societies, shifting loyalties, and the world trying to heal. It's a time we never see in games, and it would have been the perfect backdrop for a story about freedom, identity, and rebellion. A perfect story about an assassin rising up. The main character was reportedly a formerly enslaved black man, not Adewale again, someone who escaped the South, started a new life in the West, and eventually crossed paths with the Assassin's Brotherhood. Imagine the icon that was gonna be born from this character. And through them, he'd find purpose. He would not be after revenge. No, it will be him finding his purpose, a reason to keep fighting, not just for himself, but for others who still couldn't fight. It's the kind of protagonist the series has needed for years. Not another chosen hero, not royalty, not a warrior born into privilege, no, but a man who had to fight for every inch of his freedom, a man who had to fight for everything, who had to prove everything, and also to be a role model to others. And his enemies? The Ku Klux Klan. They will not be seen just as a historical hate group, no, but they will be reimagined as a fraction of the Templar Order. They will be using fear and violence to restore the order. Imagine the struggle between this, bro. Like it's powerful stuff. Like we have the hooded assassin versus the hooded Klansman. Like both of them are hiding behind symbols, but they're fighting for different reasons. That's what the series used to do best. So why would Ubisoft pull the plug? Why cancel something that ambitious? Well, ladies and gentlemen and all in between, according to multiple reports, Project Scarlet didn't even make it past early concept stages. And you wanna know the crazy part? Everyone who was involved in this project was excited and thrilled to work at it. And you know they would not have fucked it up, because it is a sensitive topic and they will have to take all their time to make it as accurate, as perfect as it can be. But of course, in mid-2024, Ubisoft quietly killed it. I emphasize on quietly. And the reason, you might ask, they were worried it was too political, bro. Let me repeat that again. They were worried it was too political. Now listen, on paper, that might sound reasonable. But when I read too political, all I hear in my brain is they were afraid of the backlash. Because of one thing, Assassin's Creed Shadows, and Yasuke, the Black Samurai. That one character caused weeks of online chaos, and apparently Ubisoft was watching. They took notes, and they didn't want to stir the pot again. No. Especially not with the game set around race, slavery, and the clan. No. So instead of facing controversy, they just avoided it. And they buried what could have been one of the most meaningful Assassin's Creed stories ever told. But here's the thing, Assassin's Creed has always been political. You've literally killed popes, toppled monarchies, and assassinated slave owners. You've joined revolutions and watched empires burn. Politics is baked into this franchise. So when Ubisoft says a story about fighting white supremacy is too political, what they're really saying is it's too uncomfortable, too risky, and too real for us to make in 2025. That's crazy. Like imagine, we stabbed crusaders in the neck and that was fine. But like confronting actual hate, that's crossing the line. It's not that the story couldn't be told, no. It's that the company didn't want to own it. And when I tell you, like when I heard this and I like checked it on Instagram, fans were heartbroken and I was one of them. Because this wasn't just another setting, another era, another coat of paint, no. This was a chance to explore what freedom actually means. Not as an abstract creed, but as a lived reality for people who were denied it. We talk a lot about player agency in games. Imagine the weight of agency in this one, where freedom isn't just a gameplay mechanic, but the heart of the story. That's what Project Scarlet could have been, a moment where the franchise finally grew up again and used its voice for something that mattered. But instead, they chickened out, and now we'll never see it. And maybe that's the real tragedy here, because this isn't just about Ubisoft, it's about a pattern in modern AAA gaming. Everything has to be safe, everything has to be market tested and non-controversial. Like games aren't allowed to challenge or provoke or make you uncomfortable anymore. But that's what art is supposed to do. Like the early Assassin's Creed game did that. They made you question control, religion, freedom, and history itself. But now they make sure nothing hurts the money, nothing offend. Ubisoft built a franchise around rebellion, and now they're too afraid to even rebel. Look, maybe Project Scarlet was doomed from the start. Maybe it was too ambitious, too bold, too raw for a company like Ubisoft in 2025 or any other company in 2025. But I still think about what it could have been. A story about rebuilding after destruction, about facing hate with courage, about freedom, not just as a word, but as a fight. Maybe one day Ubisoft will stop being afraid of that. Maybe one day they will make something that takes a stand again. Until then, all we can do is imagine the assassin we never got to play.